Hey guys, it's Inkeater, and welcome to VAM, Vinyl and Music News, where we talk about vinyl, music, and sometimes music news. And I know, it's been a minute, and you're probably like, where have you been? What's been going on? You've been gone for like 3-ish weeks, and I'm like, I know. Life. Yeah, so life, as always, is there to hand you those really big, massive piles of shit that just keep piling on, and you're kind of like, well, what did I do to deserve this? And it's like, oh, nothing, you just got the random draw of the luck, and it's like, oh, joy. That's been my life, like, the last 3 weeks. I've been literally on this kind of, like, roller coaster from hell. You know that roller coaster that you see at the fair, you have no intention of riding, but you're intrigued? Or you end up with your friends, and your friends end up dragging you onto the stupid roller coaster that you just did not want to be a part of, and next thing you know, you're kind of like strapped in, and the only part strapped in is literally you by your armpits, and you're just going to be dangling all over the place, and you're like, how is this safe? How am I not going to go flying? And it takes off, and all of a sudden you're about to go dip down, and you're like, I'm gonna go flying, and it's gonna go upside down, and next thing you know, you're kind of like just rolling with the punches, and nothing ends up happening, and you're just kind of like, oh, this was it? Yeah, that's kind of been my life the last few weeks. It's been insane, intense, and just kind of like unnerving is what I guess I want to say. Hope you guys are doing awesome, though, and if you've gone through it and you're on the other side with me, high five. We've gone through it, we've dealt with it, and onward to the next hurdle, because you know there's going to be another one soon. So tonight I wanted to talk about music podcasts. Recently I listened to a podcast. Normally I don't listen to music podcasts. I usually listen to something like a ghost, a horror, a myth or a legend podcast, a history podcast. I'm really into like nerdy history podcasts. Maybe I should do a video about nerdy podcasts that I'm into that are kind of weird and nerdy. That could be a thing. Let me know if you're interested. But for some reason I was actually intrigued by this one music podcast, and it was called R&B Matters. And it's basically, from what I gathered, because I only listened to 2 episodes, the first one being TLC, second one being the artist that I want to talk about tonight. But from what I gathered, it's basically artists talking about their life and their art, specifically their music, and how they go about creating their music and their sound, and what is the process that they go through. And the artist in particular that just kind of blew my mind was Lalah Hathaway, and she is the daughter of the late Donny Hathaway. He was a blues singer in a nutshell, and he was an artist within the 60s and the 70s. He played a lot with Roberta Flack, one of his good friends, and he passed away, unfortunately, to a suicide in like the late 70s, I believe. It was either 78 or 79. Anyway, what I found really cool was her whole music process, and how she's a one take and that's it type of person. And it kind of blew my mind, because in a lot of ways I realized that art and a lot of other artistic hobbies, I guess, kind of all converge at one point, and people have similar processes even if it's a different type of medium. And I really liked hearing about Lalah Hathaway's process and how she's a one-take person. It is what it is, with all its little faults and all its little quirks in it, and that's what you're getting. And I never understood that until recently, especially with a lot of my art, because I realized, like, a lot of my art, it's either good or it's bad. It doesn't matter. It's the whole fact that it's like you got the idea out there. And it was kind of an interesting conversation that I also had with Lloyd Kaufman from Trauma Films when I was at that Comic-Con, which is, it's just about getting the idea out there. It doesn't need to be perfect. And it was interesting how Lalah reaffirmed that, but in a whole different light in the music field, you know? And it was kind of enlightening, and it was kind of interesting, because it gave me perspective as towards why certain people like live albums, and there's a reason why. And it kind of also intrigued me, because it made me wonder, are you a music purist, or do you really like those little imperfections that you're only going to hear in that one take in that particular song off that particular album? Let me know down in the comments below. For me, it's kind of one of those, I never considered that until I thought about it realistically with some of the albums I have and how they sound a certain way, or the artist makes a certain noise in it that doesn't necessarily exist when that artist creates the live version of that song. Anyway, let me know down in the comments below. Do you like a really perfected sound that basically sounds pristine and clean and clear? Or do you like a sound that's just raw and out there? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you're curious about the podcast, I'll leave it down there. And if you know any music podcasts, definitely let me know. I know a lot of people are huge fans of listening to NPR. Me personally, it's hit and miss there. But I really do love horror, crime, mystery, fiction podcasts. If you're into that, let me know, and I will definitely compile a list and share. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys are doing awesome, and yeah, bye.
Whatever it is that you believe you're seeing, it's not real.
Seeing things before they happen.
Things are not always what they seem in this place, so you can't take anything for granted.